Barbara. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Thank you. I'm so excited that you're on the AllBrands show, and thank you everyone for watching. We have a fun show today. What are we going to be learning about, Heather?
Let me show you because I have some sitting right here. We are going to be learning about how to create patches that you can iron on, sew on, add to all kinds of decor. We got patches galore, and we're going to make those.
Oh, I absolutely love it. And guess what? I'm
What?
this high into planning the Houston Quilt Festival,
I
November
bet.
3rd through 6th. And Heather's going to be with us this year, everyone. So
I do.
excited.
I get to come. I'm so excited. I'm so glad AllBrands is going to have me.
Yay! So here is all of our headliners that are going to be at the International Quilt Festival in Houston, Texas. Our booth number is 1108, 1208, and 1308. We're going to have Angela Wolf, Cindy Hogan, Wendy Chow, Emily Thompson, Joanne Banco, Reen Wilcoxon, Carrie Cunningham, Becky Thompson, Stacy Louie, Donnell McAdams, Catherine Clausen, Emily Dunlap, Colleen Sweatman, Barbara Jones, Heather Banks, woo! Barb Michaelajczyk, Allison Nash is going to be on our main stage. She is the owner of Sweet Pea, and Emily Cross from Brewer. So AllBrands will be representing Brother ScanNCut Dime and so much more. The dates are November 2nd through the 6th at the George R. Brown Convention Center. And this year, we're actually on the front row of the festival, so right near the entrance. Very easy in and out, right next to all of the amenities that you need. So we hope that you join us this year in person. It's going to be our biggest show yet.
I'm so excited. And you have a primo spot at the show. And you always have a huge booth with so many different products. I mean, you could just spend a day in your booth. It's fantastic. I can't wait to go.
Yay! So you're going to be showing my connection, but today we're going to be talking about the 10 needle, which will also be there.
Yeah,
Can
let
you
me
show that one on the screen?
You bet. Oops, that's not the 10 needle. Here's the 10 needle. So in its glory, you can see the full 10 needles. This is the brand new 1055X, or the newest version of our 10 needle. So that's what we're going to be working on today, and you'll have that, right?
Awesome. Yes, that will be there with Colleen Sweatman. And we'll also have Cindy Hogan and Courtney Douthit on the ScanNCut.
Oh, I got that too.
Yay! Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
This is the Disney version. Do you know, will you have the Disney version there?
Oh yes, we're going to have the 325 and the 330D there, and they have awesome deals.
Yeah. Oh, your deals are always great. Can't wait to see.
So today we're going to be doing a giveaway at the end of this broadcast. It's going to be a $50 allbrands.com e-gift card. So all you have to do is comment sometime during this video, #allbrands, and you will be eligible to win that at the end of the broadcast. So stay tuned to see if you're a winner. Yeah, so let's just say hey to a few folks in the comments. And I actually see that we have some folks watching from Florida. I just wanted to let everyone know that you're in our thoughts and prayers, and let us know if you're safe. You're definitely on our minds right now.
The flooding is just devastating. So we sure are praying for everyone and hope everyone is doing all right. And if you're here by some way you're able to be here, we'd love to say hello. But what a tragedy. It's just been horrible.
Mary says, OMG. I can't believe how many great educators you're having. This is the most educators we've ever had. We're going to have our main stage with live education throughout the event. We'll be recording the main stage, but it's not as good as being there in person. So I'm so glad that Mary will be there in person this year.
Absolutely. I cannot wait to meet you. Say hello to us, please.
Let's see. Barbara Jones says, I love Houston and festival. Can't wait to meet my AllBrands virtual friends in person.
Barbara, it'll be so awesome to see you. Gosh, there's all kinds of people rolling in saying hi. Oh, Trisha, yay.
Oh my goodness.
That's fantastic.
Oh, well, I know we have a lot to learn today. So, guys, if you have questions, ask them throughout, and I'll try to answer them live during the show. And don't forget to comment hashtag AllBrands to be eligible to win our giveaway. And yeah, so take it away, Heather.
Okay, thank you so much, Barbara. I really appreciate it. I love being on with All Brands. So it's fantastic. And I love to see everyone who comes in and says hello. And please, like Barbara said, ask your questions. We are here to answer them. So I do have the PR1055 behind me and the ScanNCut over here. And we are going to incorporate both of them into creating these patches today. And some of them, as you can probably see, the patches actually go around the shape. And that is a function that most of the Brother machines can do. So you don't just have to have a PR1055 to do this. You can have a Luminaire, you can have a Dream Machine, you can have a Stellar. There's a lot. There's a lot of machines that do it. So I want to give you an idea of how to use built-in shapes. I mean, just the circle patch, right? I mean, there's a lot of use for that. And I was laughing with somebody earlier, Patty, I think you're watching, about my pumpkin patch, right? It's a pumpkin patch, but it's a pumpkin patch. So I had to get that in there. I thought that was pretty funny. So let's go over to the 10 needle. Oops, I did not switch me. So I'm going to do that really quick. There we go. That's not the 10 needle. There's the 10 needle. Okay, let's talk about the 10 needle. So first of all, what are you going to need when you're working at your machine and you want to make patches? So I thought really quickly, let's just do a rundown of what you're going to need because we're kind of working through a project here. So the first thing obviously that you're going to need is fabric. And I have, what I've been working with here is canvas. But notice on the back that it's white. And that is not how I purchased it. This is my adaptation. So the first thing I would say you're going to want for patches is some kind of stiff fabric, canvas, denim, twill. And you know what? I was talking to Barbara earlier, and they have a product that is awesome for this, and it comes in a multi-pack. So it's a twill patch kit with multiple colors. So you could just purchase that as well. Now, the reason for the fusible on the back is I want to give my patches a lot of body and stability, like a traditional patch. All this is a woven fusible, or excuse me, a woven fusible. And what I was going to say is it's a stabilizer. No, it's an interfacing. I'm going to get these words out. It's an interfacing. So a fusible interfacing, it happens to be a woven, and all it's doing is giving my fabric a little bit more stability. So we're going to start with fabric. So we got that. You can see I've cut some of these out here on my ScanNCut. The next thing you're going to need is a stabilizer. So this time I'm getting stabilizer out. And oops, sorry, wrong camera. What we have here is I am using a fibrous wash away versus a clear. You know, a lot of times we have those toppers that are crystal clear. Now, you can use those, and there's really no wrong way to do a patch. So please, if you do things different, that's perfectly fine. Just giving you ideas is all. But I like the fibrous brand because it's really tough. And the reason I am using wash away instead of tear away, although tear away is always an option, is because I like that the wash away really doesn't leave any fibers around my satin stitch. So as I get close to the camera with the satin stitch, this is really clean and I don't have any fibers left. So that's why I really like using wash away. Now I will say that if you have a very dense patch or design that you're stitching, you might want to slip or float a piece of tear away or cut away underneath. And then lastly, the thing I'm going to need, and you don't have to do this, but I am going to use a fusible on the back. There we go. I got it in the light there. And you can see that this is the fusible side. One of the things I'm going to do with the ScanNCut is show you how to cut your fusible to match your patch. Now, I went ahead and stitched my patch first, and then I did my fusible. And the reason is that I wanted my fusible to be completely available for fusing on. So I'm going to iron this on just like this, and just with a hot iron. And then what I'll be able to do is peel it back, and I will have this nice, excuse me, I was trying to get the light there. There you go. You can see that it's shiny because it's ready to be ironed on. Okay, those are the things you're going to need. Let me move those out of the way so we can get ready to make some patches. So what I have here, that's a ScanNCut. What I have here is my my stabilizer hooped and ready to be put into the machine. So I'm just going to move my hoop over so that it is properly adjusted. That should be right. All right, because I had it a little, actually I'm going to leave it out and show you, before I put it in, and show you a couple of the larger designs. So here we are at the main screen of the 10 needle. And what I'm going to do is choose a design. Now, you don't have to be on the 10 needle, as I mentioned. Most of our brother machines have this feature. But I'm going to go ahead and go into our main category. And let's just start with the butterfly. And I'm going to set that down on my screen. So we have our butterfly. Now, it's very simple to create a patch. And we're going to be able to use this design to take to the ScanNCut. So I have this key right here, and it looks like a patch, the embroidery applique key. When I push that, it now will take me into a separate screen where I can make decisions about creating a patch from this. So I actually have 3 different pages of different types of outlines that can be used to create a patch. But I'm going to, for our purposes, choose the one on the far left. And this one will allow me, let me press set. This one will follow the design on the outline. So let's see. So now you can see that it's going in and around the different parts of the shape. I can also, let me go back. I can also make changes to that. Additionally, sorry, there we are back where I wanted to be. I can change the applique distance. So this is the distance from the design to the satin stitches. So I can increase the distance and make that bigger, or I can make it all the way up to the edge of the design. So now you can see that's going right up to the edge of the butterfly. And that's fine. Let me take a closer look at what that looks like. Bring it up on the screen bigger. So in this case, my satin stitches are bumping up against the edge of the design. You have options. But the nice thing about this key is that it has a very large satin stitch. So you don't have to worry about the satin stitch not connecting or keeping the fabric down. It will automatically create a cut file for the ScanNCut. And then we have this offset so that we can go back and forth. Let's go back to the main screen. And okay, let's pick something else. What about, for instance, let me show you the difference. So I'm going to hold these 2 patches up. So here I have my pumpkin patch, and here I have the pumpkin. They're both exactly the same design. Let's pull those up. All of the ones I'm showing you here today can be made using this machine. So here is the pumpkin. He's design number 12. And I'll go ahead and let me pull them up so you can see in detail. So that's what the design looks like. And then I can add on from there. Here I added fonts, but in here I did the outline recognition. Let's go ahead and close that. Set to put it on the screen. And then I'm going to go right back to the patch, the patch category. And this time I'm going to choose a shape. So again, I mentioned there's 3 different lines of shapes. There are so many. So for instance, let's say I'll move this down so you can, and then press it so you can see it. There's more of a traditional badge there. Let's see, let's pick something else. I mean, there's the traditional circle, which that's fine. So, but again, we can go ahead and make changes to it. So for instance, if I don't, maybe that circle is way too big. I can bring it in and then test it. So what this screen is letting you do is make changes to the patch itself. We're not making any changes to the design. And up here in the corner, you can see how big it is. He looks like an angry pumpkin. I love it. He does look a little bit like an angry pumpkin, Erin. So here you can see now that, let's see, that I went ahead and made the patch smaller. You can make it a lot bigger. You can move it around. So lots of options for making adjustments to your patch. So let's go ahead and say, okay, let's pretend that was the patch I wanted. Now from here is where we can take it to the ScanNCut. We don't really want to make too many other edits to color because and I'll show you why. I'm going to go ahead and pull up one more and let me do something that looks a little bit more like this. So this is just a super fun and easy patch. This font is in here and I think it's in pretty much most, if not all of our machines. And it's such a cute font. So let me press here. It is font number 6. And it does a triple or kind of like a bean stitch. Let's go ahead and make a D. I'll do my sister today, Darby, because she's watching. So we'll press set and put that on the screen. And then I'm going to go back to my patch and press that. Let's do something different. I mean, here we did a flower. We could do a circle. Let's see, maybe this, that might be fun. And I know I'll make it a little bigger so you can see, but let me move the patch around to where I think I might want it and press set. And you know what? I can still press cancel and keep making changes. So that's the really nice thing is you can say, I like it, I don't like it, move it around. You have a lot of editing options. Press set one more time. Why do I feel like I'm not getting it right where I want it? All right, let's try that. So now that I'm done, I'm going to press OK. At this point, I'm going to press edit end. Oh, it thinks we need a larger hoop. Sorry. Need to just buckle this down so it thinks we're in a good spot. Press edit end. All right. Now what we're going to do, just move out of your way, is go to the memory key. And this is how we are going to get our patch outline over to the ScanNCut. So I'm going to press memory, and I already have a flash drive here, and I'm going to press the flash drive button. Let me try that again. I think my USB might be getting old because it thinks it's not in there. Has that ever happened to you guys? Your USB starts to, you need to be replaced. Let me go up 1. All right. All right, I'm gonna have to stand in front of the camera really briefly, just so I can see. Why does it think it's not in there? Ah, there, finally went. Sorry, that's just a result of my USB being old. So I just pressed saved. I'm gonna take that out, and then I'm going to move over to the ScanNCut. I'm gonna leave this just like it is. We're ready to stitch it out, but let's move over to the ScanNCut screen. Barbara, was there anything people needed me to clarify on the machine?
Okay, so I just I'll pull up the questions, but I was just thinking, thank goodness for wireless now is the way of the future. We don't have to deal with USB sticks anymore.
Right, exactly. Exactly, right? I mean, that is the ideal way to go. So yes, there is that. I just was using a USB, so
Yeah.
should be easier than it was.
Mary asked earlier, is there a list of recommended supplies available? So if you do click on the shop product in the description of this video, we did link a lot of the products that Heather is using to make patches here. And let's see what else we have. Edna asks, are all of the options available on the Luminaire 3?
And no, that's a good question. Most of them, you don't have that list of shapes that runs back and forth across the top, but you do have those shapes in My Design Center. So you can still do something with the shapes, but it does have a slightly different way to do it.
Okay. Can we ask 3 more questions?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, let's go. Let's go for it. Kay asks, so are you making it a patch on the embroidery machine and not on the ScanNCut?
Uh, I guess so. So the reason for the embroidery machine is that it is actually turning it into the patch like an applique with stitches that go around the outside. So with the embroidery machine, we're able to, let me come this way. With
Yeah,
the embroidery
because the
machine, we're able,
ScanNCut reads PES files. So you make it in
yes,
the embroidery machine and then put it in the ScanNCut, right?
exactly right. Exactly. That's what we're going to do right now.
And
Absolutely.
Kathy asks, that flower cutout, is that from the ScanNCut or the 10 needle?
Oh, that's a good question. That was in the 10 needle. Yes, that was one of the 10 needle designs.
That was super cute. It looked groovy.
Oh my gosh, it is so adorable. I love it too. Absolutely.
And Sharon asks, can another sewing machine be used in this process for making patches?
Yes, you can. You mean embroidery machine, maybe?
Yes.
You can definitely use other embroidery machines to do the same process.
Yeah. So Kathy actually commented earlier, I've been making patches for 20 years on different brother machines. So
Oh, that's awesome. Good for you. She
Kathy.
could come here and teach it.
And just one more comment from Robin. I've had my PR1055 for a while now, and I did not know I could create patches this way. I'm so excited to make some as soon as this class is over. So carry
Yay,
on,
Robin.
Heather.
Okay. Well, I have to tell you, I've been loving making patches too. And I just went to a close up of the screen because I thought, let's let you see exactly what we're doing here. So I put my USB in, fingers crossed it's holding out there. I got to get a new one, retrieve data, and press my USB drive. If you don't know this already, and these are just things that are on my USB, when you save a design from a brother machine, a PES or embroidery file, it goes into the B pocket. So I don't want, people to be frustrated going, oh, I didn't save, it didn't save. So we'll go to the B pocket, let the designs pull up. So you can see here that I had saved my cat earlier, but here's the one we just saved. And notice that it was saved as a PHX, not a PES. And that's fine. It just indicates it came from a brother machine. And there's my file. So we'll press that file. And there's my embroidery design. Now, because we saved it as an applique, the way it came up in the machine using that key, this outline of it is automatically transferred over to the machine. We don't have to do anything special. We can just press OK. And I don't want to change the size, but I do want to do something, and it's right here. And that's why I wanted to make this screen a little bigger. I'm going to press this as the offset key. And the reason I'm doing this is, can you see the black line? The black line is where my fabric will cut. And that's great. It's a perfect, it's doing the exact outline. However, just because I want to keep my fabric just inside that line and not see it sticking out, I'm going to press my offset. I usually do about a 0.04. It's about 3/4 of a way from the, I guess, inside of the satin stitch. So that's a personal preference. You don't have to do it, but I find I just don't get any little stray fiber sticking out. So I'm going to press OK. And now I'll press set because we're ready to cut. And here it is. And I am going to put my fabric on the mat so that we can cut. And I will, of course, be doing a background scan. Now I'm going to be using, and I'll flip over here so you can see better. I'm going to be using a fabric mat. And we like to use the fabric mat for cotton fabrics, but also I have found we always say use a fabric that works best for what you're doing. So I'm going to go ahead, and I've done some practice with this, and my fabric mat has had a little bit of use. So it's not brand new. And I'm just going to stick my fabric straight down, and then we will scan this into the machine. You know what? Let's do the black. If I left it here, because nope, I guess I didn't. White it is. That's okay. I really do. The black really does pop. So that's kind of nice. But I'm going to go ahead and put my white here. And remember, this is a layer of white canvas is in addition to a woven interfacing underneath. So it's kind of nice and thick, which is what I wanted. I'm going to load that into my machine and I'll bring you back to see me scan it in. So it's loading my mat.
We're having a few questions on what fabric you're using in the ScanNCut.
Absolutely. So you could definitely use a multiple different fabrics. You could use denim, you could use twill. I am using canvas. So anything stiffer automatically is going to be in your favor when making a patch, since you want the patch to really hold up. Let me go and make my background a little darker. So now you can see over here on the side that this is where my fabric is. So you can see the cutout right here, and you can see that this is the strip of fabric right there. Let me move that over. I don't know if it's wide enough, so I might, yeah, we'll just for convenience, we'll go to Edit, Object Edit, and Rotate. And then let's go 90 degrees left and drag that down onto the fabric. And that's perfect. Now I know it will fit and cut it out. So press OK. Now, as far as the blade goes, I'm using the standard black blade. You could use the rotary blade if you have that. I wouldn't necessarily recommend the thin fabric blade, that's this one, because our fabric is fairly thick. And by its name, the thin fabric auto blade, it's more for cotton fabrics, things that are pretty thin. So I'm just going with my straight, normal black auto blade. And then let's go ahead and press OK. Put that in my machine. Press OK again. Oh, am I pressing? There we go. Now we're going to press cut. And we'll press start. And it's going to take less than a minute. And I noticed somebody asked, oh, yeah, you know what? Somebody was asking if the twill with the adhesive already applied would work. And absolutely, you could do that. I'm just applying the adhesive after the fact because it kind of cleans up. Let me show you what it looks like. It cleans up the back. Here we go. We'll do it on the black. So let me put this in front. So see how it contains all of the stitches? It contains everything you had on the back. And if I had applied the adhesive first, the stitches here would cover up the adhesive. Probably not a big deal here, but on something with a lot of stitches, all these stitches would have covered up the adhesive. So that's why I typically do that. And let me take out the mat and then I'll move over here and show you. Okay, back to here. All right, so here we have our mat. Oops, wrong way. And it's done the cutting of our applique or our patch. So there's that. And I'm going to go ahead and pull this off. Now, this was 2 layers. This was a layer of canvas. And on the back side, oops, even though I know you can't really see because it's white, on the back side was a fusible interfacing. So it's actually pretty thick. And maybe you can kind of see it's a nice, pretty thick one. All right, let's move that out of the way. We'll come back to, oh, you know what we will do really quick is we will go ahead and cut from the same file the adhesive that we want to put on the back. So as I mentioned, I didn't attach it because I wanted it to be separate. I want to put it on separately. So let's go ahead. And I think what I'll do is put it down with the fusible side down, keeping in mind, remember, that my mat has some use, so it's not going to cling as much. If you've ever wondered how to tell if something you have will stick too much to the mat, go to a corner of your mat, take whatever you're going to apply, put it just in the corner, push down really hard in that corner, and then lift. And if it stays behind, doesn't come up, your mat is too sticky for it. So that's kind of the official way. Just place in a corner, stick really hard. I'm having no problem with getting my adhesive up, so I know that this will be okay. And you can use your brayer or your roller, kind of just using my hands to stick this down. And we're going to cut the exact same file from this. Let me go back to the machine. Okay, I'm going to load it into the machine. Go back. Now, one thing to keep in mind is if you have a design that is directional, let me show you like this one. Where's my long one? This one that was the Happy Halloween is directional. So obviously I had to cut my fusible to fit this. Sorry, I had it right here. It is. So this is the adhesive side of my fusible. Actually, I'm going to go to here. Nope, I moved it. Go back here. So what matters here is that I needed to make sure that my sticky side would match up this way. So if I had cut my fusible with the sticky side up this way, it wouldn't have worked. So this is where you need to keep in mind, sometimes you have to mirror your image. And if you want to mirror your image, you can go to Edit, Object Edit, and this button right here will let you mirror it. And in this case, it doesn't matter because it is the same from both sides. But you can see here, if I had cut it sticky side up here, that wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have fit. So just keep in mind, sometimes you have to mirror your image. We'll press OK, and then we will go ahead and run this through the scanning mechanism. And all we're doing is cutting the adhesive separately. Again, that was a good question, and you don't have to cut it or put it on separately. Any questions that we should stop and ask? Oh, there it is.
Oh, yes, we have a lot of questions.
Please go. I would love
right.
to answer them.
Okay, Jennifer asks, how do you make it not as sticky, referring to the mat?
Sure. So Jennifer, I would recommend choosing the mat that works best at the time. I love a super sticky fabric mat. That one just happens to be somewhat used, so it's not as sticky. But I would say, okay, if it's too sticky, then I would go to a standard mat. You can, I think Cynthia Hogan talks about, sometimes she'll kind of take a piece of fabric and dab it over the mat, and it kind of gets a little bit of fibers on it and makes it a little less sticky if you're trying to do that.
Okay. Mary asks about your woven interfacing. She asks, is it like SF 101? Not familiar.
It sure is, Mary. It is pretty much, it's like an interchangeable way to talk about it. Different brands, but yes, just like that.
Here's a good question from Mary. If you don't have a ScanNCut, what do you do? Well, I have an answer.
Go.
Get a ScanNCut.
Is it that you know someone where she could get them from? Mary, was that Mary? Sorry. Yes, Mary. If you don't have one, you can simply cut. I'll show you. You can cut right after the placement stitch. So the machine will stop and allow you to cut using scissors.
Great question.
So good question.
Sharon asked earlier in the show, when you're saving your design from your embroidery machine, do you save it as a PES or is it a different file format when it goes into the ScanNCut?
So the ScanNCut can actually read a PES, but it also can read, which is our files, but it will also read the files that are directly linked to Brother that come out from the 10 needle, or so it was a PHX is what it was reading. And I didn't have to know that, fortunately. I didn't, it automatically does it on its own. Oh, you know what? My sticky is coming off, but there we go. So, oops, come this way. So here is my sticky, and it's ready to go on the back of the patch as soon as we're done. So you don't actually have to know, if that helps, which way to save it. Just automatically saving it to memory will take care of it for you.
Very cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Jan asks, do you have to do an inset for the adhesive back?
Oh, okay. So, I usually just use the exact same file that was the inset, because otherwise you have a tiny bit of glue that comes over the edges. Let me come this way. The glue will come over, well, doesn't matter, I think. The glue will go over the edges of the satin stitch, and then you'll have that extra piece. So I usually do the inset and make it, or offset, which does turn it into an inset and make it a little bit smaller. Let me go back to the screen.
Cool.
If you have more questions, let me know.
We have a bunch. I'm going to save some to the end, though.
Okay,
so keep on going.
Good. All right, I am just changing my camera position briefly, and then we can go back to the 10 needle. So we've cut out what we needed to, and we're back here at the machine. I'm going to load, and I'll turn this so you can see me do it. I'm simply making this so that the 4-inch by 4-inch hoop will fit back into the 10 needle. I made it a little bit larger so we could look at the butterfly and the different items, but we're just going to use a really small hoop, which looks like this. Oh wait, was it that big? Yeah, should fit. Let's give it a shot. Actually didn't, I was just pulling something out. I didn't measure in advance. Thing says we need to change. Well, all right, it's gonna be picky. We'll go along with it. So what I'm gonna do is move this over to a larger hoop so that it'll work for me. So all I'm moving over, so you get a 4x4 hoop, you get a 5x7 hoop, you get a small hoop, you get a 9.5 by 14, or sorry, 9 by 14 is, you get an 8 by 14, excuse me. And I don't want to push on this table, so I'm just going to push right next to me. But yeah, this is just a really fun, I don't know how many people know that it has these built-in patch features, which allow you to, okay, now we have a 5x7, which allow you to do something so fast and easy. All right.
I really love it. And I love that. I call it the magic button, the little badge button on the machine.
Yeah, magic button is a good really name for it. I like
the magic button.
I like it. All right, let's make sure you can see. All right, so we're going to a 5x7 hoop. Now, because I'm doing this quickly, I did just do one layer, and I know I told you to do 2 layers of cut or wash away, but that's okay. All right, we have that in there. Now let's go back to the screen. And well, you know what? Before we go, here's what we're going to do next. You see here, I have a 1 and a 2. The 1 will be stitched out first, and it is our placement stitch, and it will tell us exactly where to place our pre-cut fabric. The 2, I wanted you to see, there are actually 2 steps to this. There is a zigzag stitch and there is a satin stitch. So you have 2 steps that will hold that fabric down, and it does a really great job. So let's go ahead and switch back to the screen. And we are going to make one change, and that's this button right here. And when you press it, you can see this is our placement stitch, our tack down, and our finishing stitch. I don't need applique position because I don't need to tack it down. If you have a 1055, a PR1055, you can turn off your stitches. So I'm going to select the tack down stitch and turn it off. And that's a really awesome feature that you can turn something off and just have it not sew. But we have our letter, we have our placement stitch, and now we have our finishing stitch. And someone asked a question a few minutes ago, what if you don't have a ScanNCut? You can leave this on and it will tack your fabric down and you can trim around it. Okay, almost there. Let's go to embroidery. And I want you to notice that your patch will always be added to the very bottom. So your design will be at the top because you brought it in first, and then your placement and tack finishing stitches are at the bottom. I want to do those first. So what I'm going to do is simply skip ahead, and I'm going to go to my tack down stitch. And then let's let that stitch really quick. It'll just take a few seconds. Oops, let me switch so you can see that. Okay, now I'm going to pull this out so you can see how we're going to go next. Because we're going to take our pre-cut fabric from the ScanNCut and we're going to take some glue stick. And I'm going to bring this out and let you see. If I get it in the right light, you should be able to see there's my placement stitch. And somebody asked, this is water soluble. So I am using water soluble. And I'm going to take my glue stick and I'm going to temporarily tack this down with my glue stick. Let there's lots of ways you can do this. You could do this with adhesive spray, although you wouldn't want to use that around your, let me do this and I'll show you, around your machine. You'd want to do that sort of in a separate area. But all I want to do is temporarily hold this down until I do my finishing stitches around the outline. So there you can see this is a nice bright purple glue stick, and I'm going to match it to the line. Now, because I did a little bit of an inset and it doesn't go exactly all the way around, that means that you'll be able to still see my stitch lines. See how nicely that fits in? And there's just a little bit of an offset. So I'm going to go ahead and push this back in. And we're going to let it do the finishing stitch. So that is the next one to go. And let me move forward. There we go. All right. So now it won't do that. And I want to go back so that, oops. What am I on? That's, oh, how about that? All right. And I'm going to go back so that you can see that hopefully a little closer as well. And I'll pull this out after it does the first round of stitches. Okay, so now you don't want to do this. You don't want to take it out, but what I wanted to do is show you what the very first round of stitches looks like, because it's going to do 2 rounds of stitches. So the first round of stitches is sort of a light tack down. This is a really nice satin stitch. I mean, that's one of my reasons that I really recommend this for patches, is it's not a small little thin satin stitch. It's a really high quality one. So you're going to first of all get that tack down stitch, and now it's going to go into a satin stitch. So we're going to give it a second, and I know it's kind of loud, which is only for the reason of letting me talk over. Mary, I love that you need a ScanNCut because it makes it easier. It makes it so much easier because I don't have to actually stop and trim the fabric. And I have to say, it's just such a treat that it works like this. I'm spoiled that it's so fast of a process. And I'm going to go ahead and stop it in a second because we don't have to keep it going at this point. I want you to see what the stitch looks like. Okay, so I'm just going to cut it, and I want you to see the
Aaron made a
cleanliness.
comment.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, Aaron just made a comment. I can't hear the machine. I think it's the
Really?
audio.
Oh, I love
But
that.
yes,
Okay.
it wasn't super loud for us.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. I didn't want to know if you couldn't hear me. So I want you to see the cleanliness of this, that it's not, there's no pieces sticking out of here. It's just such a really nice, clean thing. And I would just continue. I mean, obviously I haven't done that here, but if you can hear me, Barbara, I'll put it back in and let it keep going and talk a little bit more.
Yeah, I think we could
Okay.
do that and then go through I have a ton of questions that were asked.
Great. So I'd love
We
for
can
you
do
guys to see.
a Q&A before our giveaway. So guys, if you haven't yet, go ahead and comment hashtag AllBrands. At the very end, we'll give away a $50 AllBrands.com e-gift card. All
Okay,
right.
I'm going to come back this way for a second while it's doing that and
Okay,
try to get my
and
lights
let me
out.
come in and I will pull up the questions. All right. And I'll just go from the first ones to the last ones that we saved.
Sounds great.
Oh, and some of them are comments too that I just wanted to
good.
highlight. So we got 16 so far. Okay, Shea, 10 needle got delivered yesterday, and I have all the stuff for making patches, but have been afraid so far. Looking forward to this.
Good for you. You're going to love it. It is not hard. Just get in there and try.
Carrie Cunningham's going to be with us at the Houston International Quilt Festival. She says hey to everyone.
Hi, Carrie. Looking forward to seeing you.
Here's a question from Marcia early on. She said, wouldn't you embroider first and then cut?
That's a great question. So one of the things that can happen when you do that is that when you embroider the center part first, it pulls your fabric away from the edges, because as all of these stitches are going into the fabric, it's creating a lot of pressure on that fabric and pulling it towards the middle. If you do it that way, then what'll happen is oftentimes your fabric won't meet the edges. So this is just sort of a cheat way to get a really perfect patch. And if you buy a patch from online, you know, when you buy blank patches, that's how you buy them, with the edges already done. So you can just come on the inside and do your stitches. And since the 10 needle has a camera, you just line them up and you can go. Oh,
Very
let me
cool.
show you. All right, let me pull this out. So, okay, so I'm going to hold this up here, and hopefully, can you see the stitches pretty good, Barbara?
Yes.
All right. So this is just super clean. Now, question, like someone just said, you know, we're doing the outside first instead of the inside. We want the outside fabric to stay where it is. We want to get that nice and in place. Now, if I had a really dense design, and let me show you that. It just so happens that I have one of those. I'm going to pull it from right back here. So a few days ago, I was playing with this design. And it's a very cute design, but it's got like 16,000 stitches in the little gnome. So what happened was I had one layer of water soluble and nothing else. And really, that's just not enough stabilizer for a design of this density. So what happened was it's puckered a little bit. Also notice, because I've got all this open space, I did stitch this first, but it still kind of skewed it. It's not a really straight design. It was just too dense. So what I would recommend instead is, here it is restitched, and it looks so much nicer. So what I did was I used 2 layers of water soluble, and I did the outside layer, just like I'm showing you right now. But when I was finished getting that patch down, I slid under 2 pieces of tearaway just for the gnome. And now I will just rip away the gnome part, and I will still have water soluble only to wash away from the edges. So it's a little bit of a cheat way to get extra stabilizer around things that are really dense, where you know you're going to need it, because some designs just really won't hold up well to just 2 layers of stabilizer. So don't feel like you're limited to that. Just wait till you do the outside and then slide under your hoop cut away, tear away, whatever you think you need, and you'll never notice. You'll never see it. I'm just going to rip. Let's do that. I'm just going to rip away my tear away. And now I'm ready to take this to some water and dissolve this and add the glue on the back. So just another way that you can do that as well. Should we go back and any questions, or we can go back and finish the letter if you'd like to see the patch?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, let's do that. Excellent questions. You guys are awesome.
Keep them coming.
Yeah. Okay, back to the screen. So it says that I'm finished embroidering, and that is because I went ahead and skipped all the way to the end to do the outside of my patch. So I'm just going to press OK, go back to embroidery, and now I'm back to this being at the very front. Now I'm back to the design being in place. There is more than one way to get it so that it would have been in the correct order. I could have deleted the D and then brought the D back in later. You can kind of play with these settings to get them in the order you want. But I guess basically what I would say is go to the end. You can go to the plus or minus key. It'll let you choose the stitch you want to stitch out and go down from there. But since we already did that, I'm going to go ahead and go to my D. Now, right now it's set on needle 1, which is blue, but I'm going to make, yeah, sure, why not? We'll make it blue. So I'm going to go ahead and press unlock and then go ahead and stitch that out. And this is just a, oops, wrong one, triple bean stitch for the letters. I really love them. It's the same one I did for the flower. The gnome is really cute. That's not a brother design, but it is very cute. And the adhesive to adhere the patch, I saw Barbara, someone asked. I used, this is a Elmer's glue. I mean, it's just literally a water soluble or washable school glue, but you could also use spray adhesive. Just don't use the spray adhesive near your machine. All right, I'm going to take this out and show you what it looks like done. Oh, maybe I'll get it straight here. So if we take it out of here, now all that's left to do is trim around the outside. I know I have scissors here somewhere. So what I would do, I'm going to very quickly do this so that you can hopefully then see. So this is water soluble. I don't want to put all this water soluble stabilizer into my sink because it can clog it up. It's very sticky once it gets wet if you haven't used it before. So here's probably about as much as I would trim away. And then I would go to the sink and just lightly dab the outside with water, and this will just pull away. And then you'll have a perfect patch. And then on the back, we would just come in and glue on our fusible that we put on the back. And this is it. That's ready to go. So it can be as simple or as complex as you want for your patch. But really the bottom line is that with the features combined of the embroidery machine along with the ScanNCut is where you get the fast. I mean, you could cut an entire sheet of, once I'm going to make a pumpkin patch, just cut a whole sheet of patches of fabric and a whole sheet of fusible, and then you can just pull them out whenever you're ready to go.
Here's a question, and thank you. This is so great. I love it, Heather.
Good.
Anne asked, can you pick another color for the D, or are you committed to that needle?
Absolutely no. I can definitely show you if you'd like. That can just be as simple as you can program it, or let me go back to the screen. There's actually some, you have the magic wand. So it has a little, looks like a magic wand really, and it would let you choose any other color to go. That's how it worked for a multi-needle. You could also swap colors. There's multiple ways to change, but you're in no way limited to what you have already chosen. You can continue to make lots and lots of changes to it.
Very cool. Someone commented earlier, they said that why don't you just do multiple patches at once? And yes, so
Yes.
that's the goal. So
Excellent suggestion.
so and then someone else commented earlier that, oh, it makes it so much easier that you don't have to cut out each tack down stitch with the ScanNCut. So imagine how fast it would be to not have to cut out each patch and to
Yeah.
not have to thread your machine after each thread color for said patches.
It's just a
Real
huge
time saver.
it is. It just is. I mean, you could have all those fabric patches pre-cut, and like your person was saying, multiples in the hoop, and then you don't even have to change the thread color. So it's a super fast way to go. It is.
Mhm. Mary asked a really good question.
Um,
What does everyone do with all these patches?
Mary, let me show you something I was thinking about. Good question. You guys are excellent. Okay, so I actually had one thing here that I had made, and it is Disney. So I did not make it on the 10 needle because Disney can't be used with a 10 needle. But this is clear plastic. I made a patch, and then I sewed the patch directly to the bag, and I covered it with fabric so you weren't seeing the threads. And then it's just a little zipper bag. I mean, you can purchase this on the roll. I'm sure you guys all know and use it. So you can take any patch and just sew it on. I mean, so that was an idea. Then I had some napkins sitting here, and I thought, okay, you know what I need to do is the corner of these napkins. I'll show you. I was thinking that I would do something like this, where I would just, because these are like a linen. Oh, I messed up my light. There we go. These are like a linen, and they're not going to hold up really well to embroidery. So anywhere that you have something that's pretty thin and lightweight, you can just iron on. You can sew on. You don't have to do the fusible. I mean, we've talked about putting fusible on the whole time, but that's completely optional. You could definitely just no fusible and sew them on. We're sewers, so we're used to people saying, can you iron my patch on? Because they're not sewers and they don't know how. So yeah, I mean, so many ideas.
Oh my gosh, there's so many questions. I hope we can get to all of these. I'll try to do as much as we can. Oh my goodness. Okay, so here is one from Kay. That is so cool. Hoping to get a luminaire soon and hope it does it as well.
It does.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Same button.
Come see us at Houston. Heather will be there.
I will.
And also with the Stellaires too. You can do that.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's in so many machines. It's just more of, getting, like you said, I mean, when you have the multiple needles that can change it, it's faster, but you can do this one thread at a time. That works.
Here's one from Mary. What do you do with the extra wash away stabilizer?
Good question. I'd be curious to know what people here do, but what I actually have been taking it and setting it aside, and a lot of people mix water in it and use it as a form of starch. So I was going to try that. Have you tried that, Barbara?
No, but usually if I do patches, I'm going to do like the whole hoop. I'm going to fit as many.
Oh, yeah. I'm wasting it here for our show because I would fill it too, for sure.
Okay. We have a ton of questions, but we're almost over on time. I wanted to thank you, Heather, for coming on the show, and we're going to do a giveaway right now. So if you haven't, everyone, go ahead and comment hashtag AllBrands to be entered to win our $50 allbrands.com e-gift card.
Good luck.
And here we go. And let's have a drum roll, please. And our winner is Steve Norma Coffin. Congratulations. Oh my gosh. I think that you have been watching our show since the very beginning.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Veteran here. Please email me at events@allbrands.com to claim your e-gift card, and congratulations.
Congratulations.
What a great show today. I'm so inspired.
Good. I'm so glad you had fun. I had so much fun being here.
Yes.
I love to learn in the comments from what other people do.
Let's check.
Okay.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh. Just a lot of congratulations. Let's see.
Yes. I
Here's one
always
from,
learn. Oh,
let's see. How do you slide stabilizer under the hoop?
so that's a good question. It is, you're waiting before it, once it finishes doing the satin stitches and outline and it stops stitching, you never want to slide stabilizer under there while it's still stitching. Then let me show you basically, because it's super fast and easy, how you would do it. I keep pushing every button except the one I want. There we go. So when you have this up and it's in here, something like this, then what you would do is you would already have your stabilizer in. And this is actually kind of nice because it will show you what to do. You can just lift this up and slide this underneath. And it's not actually connected. It's just slid right under the hoop. Again, this is never while it's moving and never while the needles are actually in the thread, but in between where you would begin to start stitching your next project. And it's often called floating. And you're just sliding that underneath. And now we're going to get that stabilizer right in the center where we need it.
Oh,
So it's
very
not hard.
cool. I wish we could have gotten to all the questions, but sorry about that, everybody. All
I'll
right,
come
Heather.
back and see if I can.
Oh, thank you so much. All right, everyone. Have a great day, and we'll see you at the Houston International Quilt Festival.
Can't wait. Thanks, Barbara.
Yay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.